the sun's shining, and there is something that even if you are stuck inside, there's something about the sun shining that actually just cheers you up, just kind of like puts a little pep in your step. Or maybe that's just me. Right. Do you know, I'm looking through things. I'm saying that I'm clearing clutter, and I'm finding lots of things. And I found these keys. I actually have no idea which doors they belong to, because they're not in my house. But it got me thinking about the keys. The keys that we need in our lives to open the doors to the things in our lives, whether it is to success, to prosperity, to financial abundance, to relationship, the keys. And I've decided that there is actually a master key. You know, that whole master key that actually opens each and every door. And we actually hold the master key in the palm of our hands. And you're thinking, what is Carol talking about? I'm going to tell you that you are the master key. Yeah, you heard me right. You right where it is that you are, exactly how it is that you are, is the key that can open any door that you choose to open. Okay, let me, you're probably thinking, what on earth is she talking about? In life, the one thing is that we have, that we will always have, is ourselves. In real terms, we are the most valuable asset we will ever have. It doesn't matter how much money it is that you acquire, how many possessions it is that you have. Actually, the most valuable asset you will always have is you. You know, the diamond, you know, we would all love a diamond. The diamond that when it is that it's put into something light, it shines, and it's got multi-facets, so it will shine from different angles. The core of the stuff that makes us, I think of like the diamond. And what it is that's happened is that it is covered in layers of life, layers of challenge, layers of mistakes, layers of failures, etc., just layers upon layers. And sometimes we have so many layers that we don't actually see it or even believe that it exists. But the fact that you aren't like the person next to you, you're not like that other person that's doing the stuff it is that you are doing, you're not. Because the combination of experience, expertise, failures, mistakes, successes and triumphs makes you different. Do you know that if there are identical twins, that they are identical in every way, once it is that they go into the world and they start having experiences, that they are no longer identical in everything, because their experiences change them. Their experiences impact their thinking, impacts their perspective, the way that they do things. It changes. So every one of us is distinct in that way based on the experiences that we've been through. And the moment it is that you actually own that, know that, and value that, you now have the master key that can open the door. Because now, when it is that you are seeking success, whatever it is that you have defined for yourself, you're seeking that, you are showing up, you know, pure of kind of spirit, authentically you, because you know who you are. If you think of babies really think that something isn't possible. You know, that you see the baby wants to stand up. They're not thinking, oh, right, I'm really young, my legs aren't formed yet, so maybe standing's not a really great idea. No, they go for it anyway. And they keep going for it. Actually, babies start off crawling and they've got a desire to walk. Actually, when I was in hospital last year, I was trying to think, why would they do that? It seems too complicated. But they've got a desire to walk. And so they don't see any reason why they can't do it, because they believe that it is possible. and they keep pushing until it happens. A baby or a young child will stand at the top of the stairs and want to jump because they think it is possible. They're not jaded by life and what it is that you are told that you can't do. They've got the key and they want to open the door. So I want to ask you the question, what doors do you want to open? You know, that we're sitting, I know the circumstances are not the circumstances that we had envisaged. It's not what it is that we would like it to be. Yeah, all of that's true, but it is what it is. And so from this space, what doors would you like to see opened? Because there is going to be that time beyond this. It isn't over, so there's a time beyond this. So what doors do you want to open? I know that you've already done your definition of success because we've had this conversation before. But just in case you haven't, go back to that and define what success means to you. It may be different successes in different areas. Success in relationships. What does that mean to you? What does that look like? And how can you unlock the door to that? How? Because it's less about actually I can't, and it's more about, do you know what? This is what it is I want to do. What do I need to do? Who do I need to be in order for this to happen? And actually that reminds me of, at the beginning of the year, I ran a personal brand vision board workshop. And I was coming from the place that we do vision boards. And if you're not familiar with a vision board, it's essentially, it's a collective of images and words that depict the things it is that you are striving for, so that you can see it on a regular basis, and it becomes a visual for your mind to just keep pushing and moving towards. And it's had amazing impact across the globe for decades, if not longer than that. But one of the things I was thinking, well, hold on a minute. That's really great because, you know, you may want that red Ferrari. Of course, it's got to be red. But have we thought about who we need to be in order to unlock the door to that? That whole thing that actually, if that's what it is I want, that's what it is I'm striving for, that's my dream, that's my vision, fantastic. But who do you need to be or become in order for that to happen? Because that's the key. It's not just about visualizing it. It's not just about dreaming about it. It's not just about affirming it. It's also looking at what's your part? What's your part in the equation? And therefore, what do you need to do in order to make that happen? And when I say do, I'm not talking in terms of doing. I'm talking in terms of developing yourself in order for that to happen. And as we're sitting here at this time, it's the same for all of us. What is our learnings? What are we learning about ourselves? What are we doing to upskill ourselves? You know, what are we listening to? What are we reading? Are we writing? What are we doing to help ourselves move further towards the person it is that we want to be? Because I'm sure for all of us that actually there is a person that we'd like to be, you know, whether or not it is the size 10 model. Okay, that's not my thing, but you know what I mean. That what is the thing that we see in our mind's eye, that we think, oh, it would be really great if, or I'd really love to, and if only. Okay, let's move the if onlys and really liked on all of those things, and actually let's set an intention that actually, do you know what? When the doors are open, this is how it is. I'm going to step out. Yeah, I'm going to step out. You know, I'm going to step out with my nails done. That's kind of a thing for me at the moment, because I had gel nails done just before my 6-week thing, and gel nails aren't that easy to get off. So yes, getting my nails done would be really great. But what is it? And it's not necessarily in terms of that whole outer physical thing. In fact, it's not about the outer physical thing. It's about the inner thing, because once it is that you connect with the inner thing, I guarantee you the outer thing all comes together, because the real diamond is the stuff that's on the inside, and you need to discover it, give it a little polish, and allow it to shine, because then I guarantee it will open doors that you didn't even know was possible. And all because you showed up. And just in case you think that Carol was talking out of her bottom, let me give you an example. Yes, I will go back to the fact that when I was in hospital and I was in the wheelchair, in pajamas, and I went to the reading group, and we sat there and we did a round the table read. And then after that, they turned to me and said, you need to be a motivational speaker. Now, there was nothing that I brought to the table apart from myself. And the fact that they had never met me before, there was nothing that they could say, oh yeah, I know that this is who Carol is. This is what it is that she does. Oh, right. So therefore, no, none of that. The only thing that they had was how it was I presented myself. And bearing in mind, I was in pajamas in a wheelchair and I hadn't had a wash yet. It had nothing to do with that either. And so what I'm saying to you is that when you show up, magic actually happens, because I got a booking to speak from that wheelchair and then subsequently got other bookings to speak as a result of that wheelchair. And so I'm saying to you, reminding you again that you are the master key. In fact, you don't need all of these. You just need the one. You are the master key that can open any door in your life and make it happen. And I want to encourage you today to actually just stop for a moment and actually think, okay, who am I? That's a kind of real deep question, isn't it? Who am I? And bearing in mind now, it can't be dependent on the job that you do, because actually right now, not everybody is working or working in the way that they were working before. So who are you? So let's move the trappings of work. Let's move the trappings of mother, father, sister, auntie, daughter, son, etc. to one side. And actually, who are you? Because you are the core that shows up in all of those places. But the core is the key. You know, like in the gym, they say, you need to hit the core. Because when you hit the core, everything else works. I'm suggesting to you today that you need to identify that core and get it working. Polish it, so that it starts doing for you. Because actually we're here for us, so that we can be of service to other people. Because you know what? When you are full, when you give from a richer place. When you are happy, you give from a richer place. It's time for us to claim what's ours. And it's not about material things, it's what is ours. Because I firmly believe, you already know that I believe in God. So I firmly believe that I am here for a purpose. You are here for a purpose. In fact, I know the only reason I survived last year is because I'm here for a purpose. And so therefore, come on guys, you identify who you are. They say that that two of the most asked questions in life are, who am I and why am I here? And the two greatest days in a person's life is the day they were born and then the day they found out why. Why is a you know, that's sometimes that's a lifelong something, but the first thing to start with is actually, who am I? That's a really interesting question. Who am I? And I think that I've been thinking a lot about that, you know, just actually thinking, do you know what? I've been in the house by myself for 6 weeks. I haven't been outside. I haven't had that kind of connection with people. Who am I? Because the question is, who are you when nobody's watching? Because actually that's who the real person is. And when it is that you look in the mirror, if you're happy with the person looking back at you, great. If there are things it is that you think, actually, if I tweaked this, or if I looked more closely at this, that will have a richer impact on my world, then actually that's what you need to do. And I don't mean when you look in the mirror and you think, I don't like my nose, or yeah, my eye's a bit wonky, or you know, those bags under my eye. No, I'm not talking about the physical. It's when you look in the mirror, look at the person looking back, because I've discovered that mirrors aren't a reflection of you. They're a reflection of who you think you are. So if you think that you are amazing and you are beautiful, when you look in the mirror, that is the person looking back. But if you think that you're ugly and you're terrible and my nose is too big, all of those things, then actually that's the person looking back at you. Now I want to say to you that when I look in the mirror, and I think, oh my gosh, wow, you're amazing. And I then say to God, like, look, you created an amazing woman. I believe that I'm awesome. And my belief in the awesomeness of me isn't dependent on whether or not you agree with me. That's an interesting one, isn't it? That it's not about what it is you think of me, it's what I think of me. And that reminds me that when I was growing up, which is kind of interesting that I remember this now. I remember saying to my mum, are you proud of me? And she said, it's not about whether or not she is proud of me, it's whether I am proud of myself. So come on, guys, take a look at yourself. And it's neither good or bad, it just is. Because what I've discovered on my straight brain journey is that so much of things that happen, they are not necessarily good or bad. It's the emotion and the label that we put to it that makes it good or bad. Which is that back to that whole thing, whether it's a crisis or an opportunity, it's the same scenario. We just choose how it is that we see it, or how it is that we label it or define it. And it's that whole thing that actually that we've got what it takes to turn this around for ourselves in this time and in this season. And when I say turn it around for ourselves, what that then means is, oh my gosh, if you get onto the fact that you have the key, then how it is that you impact the people in your life, the situations that you show up in, that changes everything. Right, we know that COVID-19 is infectious. You know, we're taking all these precautions against infection. What I want to say to you is, you be infectious. You let your light shine so that actually that you infect every situation, every relationship, every circumstance that you show up in, because hey, you will make a difference. And even if you just make the difference to one person who then makes a difference to somebody else, we've got that ripple effect going. But it all starts with you. And it all starts with you knowing that you are enough. I'm going to say that again, that you are enough. In fact, if you've got a dry white marker thing, write it on your bathroom mirror. Write, I am enough. And then anybody else that's in your household that sees that actually can relate to that as well. Because it's times now, particularly now, where we have to be saying to ourselves that it's enough. I am enough just as I am, because I make a difference. That's it. So I'm saying to you guys, you are the master key. Own it and go open some doors. Right, so from my heart to yours, have a great one. And I will catch you on the other side.